Hey there, you're listening to another episode of Theology on the Road. This episode is on creation. One of the topics I love to talk the most about is creation. I'm interested in science, fascinated in science. I'm fascinated with the early chapters of the Bible. A lot of different opinions on the early chapters of the Bible in this day. And, I am friendly with those who disagree. And I'm also very adamant about the interpretation that I think is the correct one, and I think there are good reasons for thinking it's the correct one. So we will talk plenty about different aspects of creation over the lifetime of this podcast, of course. But I just want to give you guys, just real quick, a basic rundown of what I think is the correct understanding of creation and the beginning of the world. This will be a short episode, just running out to the store for a minute, so just thought I would bring you a little something to create some more content for this podcast and for you all. And again, feel free to comment, ask questions, stevestram.com/ask, and you can record your message right here for us, and we can answer it and comment on it, etc. So I'm excited about that. So, what do I think about creation? I hold to the traditional 6-day creation view. I am a young age creationist, so I think that the earth, the universe, the whole 9 yards are somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 years old. And I think probably closer to the 6. There are some Christians increasingly who are adopting the Septuagint's timeline on things, and that would put creation closer to around 7,000 years ago. But that's what I believe. That's what I hold to, and so that's what I argue for. And there are lots of Christian scientists who hold this view about the beginning, and they have argued for it persuasively in scholarly papers for years now. And creation science is a developing field. There's lots more to discover and lots more to discuss with respect to creation science. And I like to help people know about the latest that goes on. So I'm sure from time to time I'll take a moment to comment on some of those things as we go through here. Now look, let me just tell you right now, if you are someone listening to the sound of my voice who does not agree with that view of creation, understand that I'm going to be a little different than a lot of the creationists that you encounter. I would love for you to stick around, because anytime we talk about this subject on which you might disagree with me, I want you to know that I commit to speaking about the issue graciously, firmly. I will not back down from my position. We will talk about it, and we will argue for it in a way that we aim to be persuasive with. I will not mention it unless I am aiming to persuade you that I think it's the right view and why I think it's the right view. So I'm not scared to talk about it or to shy away from persuasion. I'm just saying that I don't want to be rude. I know this is a hotly contested issue. I'll try not to be rude. I'll try not to straw man your position or whatever. So that's just me. And again, this is just more conversational, and yes, I want to persuade you of it, but ultimately I realize that there are going to be legitimate Christians who have also legitimate disagreement about the nature of this issue. So I have a commitment to all sides. I want to hold my fellow creationist brethren to a Christ-like standard of being clear and firm and uncompromising in truth, while at the same time realizing that we are all brothers and sisters in Christ. There are going to be things that we disagree on legitimately, and creation is one of those topics. So that's essentially what I wanted to share with you today. My view of creation, which we will be talking about quite a bit, I can assure you, over the life of this podcast, but how it relates to other things as well. And we will talk a lot about general theology and practical Christian living and things of that nature. And if you don't think something like creation can be applied practically today, then I would encourage you to study further. The Bible's mention of the way, for example, that man and woman were created has everything to do with the way that humanity is valued today and the way that humanity is looked at today. I think that Christian evolutionary views do a great disservice to the understanding of what it means to actually be made in God's image and to be God's to be the person carrying out God's dominion mandate on this planet that He created. So I would encourage you to stick around. I promise you that there are practicalities to every aspect of theology. And that's one of the reasons for this podcast, is to demonstrate that theology is important, but its real importance is seen as it relates to the daily living that you and I do as a Christian. And I am going to aim with every episode to show you that connection and to help you make that connection between deep theology and the life that you live every day. I want to help you in that way. So thank you for joining us so much. Again, if you have any questions about what we mentioned on this episode, you can go to steveschramm.com/ask, and it will lead you to the place where you can record a quick voice message for me. I can play it right here on the next podcast and answer your question. Or if you have a comment, you want to share your opinion about creation, so I can come back with some thoughts on that. I mean, I'm happy for you to do that. Also, if you feel led and you think that it would be worthwhile to support this podcast, I would encourage you to go back to the episode on the what and the why. We talk a little bit more about the actual mission of this podcast and why I think it would be worthy to support to help get the word out. You can help with that by going to steveschramm.com/support. Thank you so much for deciding to listen to this episode on creation. Love you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.